Good morning.
It is Tuesday again.
It's two-time Tuesday again.
Yes.
We are.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
I feel like I'm completely unprepared this morning.
Would you believe I wore a pink sweater yesterday?
No.
I did.
You did. You should have taken a picture to prove it.
I did. There were witnesses.
There were witnesses. People
Yeah.
saw it.
Carolyn, you had pink on yesterday too.
Wow. I'm a day late.
You're a day late.
All right.
Do you have $1?
I probably.
$1 short?
$1 short.
So we're gonna make a plant cozy thing.
Yeah.
What is it? Plant holder?
Plant holder. Yes. With some crazy directions.
Really crazy directions.
So a little bit of unsewing because we're using the Kimberbell towel blanks.
Yep.
2 towels, not 1.
Yep.
And I wonder why you couldn't just work on the wrong side of the top part of the towel.
Trying to conserve towel.
I mean,
you mean drawing on the top part of the towel?
I mean, using the back of the towel is basically white on the one, so you're basically cutting them in half. So, but they didn't ask us.
Yeah. So my question and what I think I would do if I were repeating this is I would not be unsewing these. I would
just use some fabric.
I would use fabric and back it with a fusible so that it had this stability and not unsew.
All right.
And then re-sew.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's for the birds.
Absolutely. So this particular project, we have a couple of different things to stitch. So we have some 3D holly leaves, and then we have some quilting to do. So I have the quilting designs up, and I'm just going to put that in. We have some water soluble stabilizer in
just some standard wash away, not sticky, not anything special, just literally wash away. A mesh wash away.
Yes.
And these are the felt leaves. So
yes,
this worked. Yeah, or you moved it.
I just move it up on the table because it vibrates on here. But yeah, other than that, yes. So I am just going to stitch out the outline. And we have a green thread.
So it says right in your directions that you want a matching bobbin for this entire project.
Yes.
So definitely do recommend that. They're not going to be super seen on the back, but depending upon where you put them, the back will be seen a little bit. So definitely want to make them pretty if possible. I'm already confettied.
You're already
thread.
confettied.
All right. So you have 2 different colors of felt.
Yes.
And though if you don't like both colors, you could do both sets of leaves in one color because you have enough.
I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put this color in.
You just like that one?
I just like that one.
Okay.
And then go.
And go. It's going to do the top set first. So you have 2 that have one design, and then the bottom 2 actually have berry leaves in them, and berries as well.
So I obviously picked a different one than you did.
You did.
Because this one started with the bottom set.
Yep. There's 2 designs there.
And
so here's the thing. I followed the directions. I actually read what they told me to pick, and that's the one that I picked. So there's two different.
Oh, I know what. You didn't put the top on.
Is that what it is?
Yes, that is what this is.
That's
So,
that one.
Yes, I think we probably should
We can do that
stop
in a moment.
this and fix that.
I didn't sew yesterday. It wasn't doing this yesterday. That's really weird. I never noticed it. Did
Well,
I?
I don't know. That is the issue.
I am taking out the wrong section. I'm gonna go sew.
Okay.
This is the problem.
Actually, let's fix this really quick. So we forgot to put the
the
table
support in.
on here.
I think I can hold it if you wanna.
Okay. You sure?
Yes. Don't mind us. You know, it's the. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm. Oh shit! It's not going down.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's stuck.
Okay then.
I don't know what the problem is.
Well, let's see if this works. Because we're stuck now.
It's probably just gonna make it
It's
worse.
probably going to be worse.
Maybe that will.
I don't know either. We'll see. Oh my.
That's a little better.
Got it. So now I'm lost on what the hell. Oh Lord. I hope it's all on the right page.
Maybe. I don't. My issue is I haven't had any coffee yet.
Coffee! You guys do coffee? I don't do coffee. I really should, but I haven't found one that I actually will drink yet.
It's more cream than coffee.
I haven't even found a balance of that I can do. All right.
So you guys will just think this is totally hysterical. So yesterday I'm sitting on the couch and I have my iPad on my lap, and I was playing a game on my iPad, and the cat comes up, right, and he comes like from underneath me, bumps his head like at the bottom of my iPad. The iPad comes off the magnetic stand, flies up, and literally hits me in the head.
That's fantastic.
So I like my forehead, like I have like a small little goose egg from where the corner, like I could not have done that
Those are heavy.
twice,
No.
you know, and so it's right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are the odds? And of course, Dave is playing his new video game, and he's got his headphones on, so he sees and hears nothing, right? And I'm like, I saw stars. That's what it is.
Well, I will read, play games, watch random things in bed at night.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I read on at night and everything. And sometimes I lay on my side and the iPad will be on a pillow or something next to me. But sometimes it's literally sitting on me. Yeah. And boom, right? So I know exactly what you're talking about. It is not a pleasant thing.
No, it's totally hysterical.
All right, I'm gonna go press the sides open and then top stitch the back down.
All right.
Which is what we'll need to do. Anyways, I'll just have a longer top stitch than most people will. I'll be right back.
Good. All right. We're gonna be right here stitching our second set of holly leaves.
Yep.
Good morning, Hayden.
Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Lisa. Good.
These are really cute. So Lisa did hers. You can see that she did 2 different colors. So here's her darker version and then the lighter version. And she's already rinsed hers so that we can use them. So we have a little bit of movie magic today. So what Lisa is working on is the second step, which is cutting your 2 tea towels in half. So you're going to lay the main tea towel right side up on a flat cutting surface with a short end to the top. And then you're going to measure 10.5 inches down and draw a line. And then you're going to cut on that line. And then you are going to pull the hem stitching out of the 2 side pieces because we want that to extend. We want to be able to extend the top stitching part. So she is working on that part. Good morning, Sydney. And we are almost done.
But I am done.
The final leaf.
Dun, da, da, da. Woo, woo. Good thing I don't have water soluble. It wouldn't blend.
Right.
Oh well, we'll grab that next. I heard you showing off my leaves.
I did.
Carolyn rinsed them for me. So the recommendation when you rinse these, rinsing in cold water, not hot because of the felt, so that it doesn't shrivel up.
It's probably a little harder to get the glue
Takes
out.
a little longer.
Yes. All right. So here we have our 4 holly leaves. And I'm going to flip over to the other camera here. So you can see 4 leaves. And then Movie Magic, Lisa's got them. She managed to make them super fancy and 2 different colors just from that.
Ta-da!
So you've got your options. You can do the 2 different color version. You can do the single version, whichever one you want, whatever one speaks to you.
So
And
there's
then
literally 2 different files.
There are
to pick
2
from.
different files, yes. So the next thing we want to work on is the, oops, I don't want to add. The next thing that we want to work on is the quilting part. So I am just pulling up those files. And
Wrap
this
your
is
red towel
Wrapped
since
with Love.
It's not.
And we have poinsettia choices, or we have presents. Did you do poinsettias?
I did the poinsettias.
I think I'll do the Christmas trees or the Christmas presents.
Christmas presents.
And
All
then
right.
we'll be able to show you guys both versions.
All right. So I'm gonna go grab the red towel because
Okay.
I can't show what to do because
Oh,
they're all
sure.
cut.
They're all
Um,
cut, yes.
So I'm gonna just grab you. I'm not gonna physically cut it because I don't have any room to do that.
Okay.
But
I got my planner done into one.
yeah. So if you are following along in your directions, once you finish the leaves, you're going to be at the middle of page 6, just so that you know where I'm at. And you will have 2, hopefully, towels in your kit. You don't get 2 red towels, you get 1, and it will either be the dots or the stripes, but you don't get 1 of each. You get 1 towel. So I kept looking, where's my other one?
Yes.
You only get 1. So depending upon whatever luck of the draw you got is whichever one you
We
have.
both got polka dots.
We both got polka dots. So in your instructions, you'll see the stripes, but you may or may not have exactly what that is. So depending upon your confusion level, you can't follow the direction of the stripe if you have polka dots to know which direction things are going in.
True.
So pay attention to the short end, long sides, and the measurements that they're showing you
Right.
to make sure that you're cutting off the right side.
10.5 inches down from the short end.
From the short end. So with your short side, you're going to measure 10.5 down, and that is where you're going to cut. So you will have 1 longer finished end and then 2 short ends with that. So you will go from a large rectangle to a small rectangle. So again, the long, turn that to the side and measure 10.5 down from the short end.
And then your short ends become your long ends.
That is exactly correct.
And if that doesn't happen,
it does not matter which end you cut from. If you cut from the end that has the loop and the tag, you can remove the loop. You can remove the tag if you want to. It doesn't matter, but you will want to remove the loop so it gets out of your way. Tag, totally your
whatever.
choice.
Right.
I just cut from the other side, so I didn't have to worry about it. But that is your choice, but you'll want to cut that. And you're going to repeat these same steps for both towels.
So you might as well do them
You
both
can
at
do
the
them
same
both
time.
at the same time, which is exactly what I did. So once you have your white and red cut down, you're going to have, again, 1 long side, which is going to be finished, and then 2 short sides, which at this point will still be finished. And in your directions, you are now going to turn that to the back and have your hemmed edge on the right side. And you will take your marker, whatever marker it is that you're using, just pay attention so you know how to get rid of it. They're recommending water soluble, which is great for this project because you're going to need to rinse it later. So the water soluble will rinse away when you rinse the project. I don't have a water soluble open here at the store, or if I do, I can't find one. So I'm going to use a friction pen, which is heat, which means I'm going to need to heat it before we rinse it. So same steps. I just need to pay attention to what I'm doing so I remember later on. Okay.
And then you're going to need to open your package with your clear blue tiles if you haven't already done that.
If you have not already. So the first thing, we're on step number 4 on page 6 here for this section, which is part number 2 for this project.
Yes.
And we need to label so that they will refer to which side of the towel they want you to do something to. So we're going to label A on the left,
which is the unhemmed side.
Unhemmed side. B at the top. C is the hemmed side. And D is the bottom. That is step 4. Super complicated, right?
Yes.
Know your ABCs. You're still good.
And you're going to do that on both.
And you're going to do that on both of your pieces.
With the same lettering. Same
lettering. So A, B, C, and D. Same thing with both pieces. Okay. And then once you have that, you are going to take your handy dandy seam ripper and remove. We're going to pretend this is still hemmed. I've removed this one, but I haven't put it back together yet. So here's what that's going to look like when it's hemmed. We need to remove out an inch so that we can take out this side seam. This is where I said I would just rather cut a piece of fabric the size that I need and hem one side, because I'd rather sew one side than unsew and press and then resew.
Yeah.
Other than that, it doesn't really matter. It's not that this is hard, it's just time.
Yep.
So I have to remove 1 inch in so that I can unfold here, press this open, and then I'm going to refold and then top stitch that section closed. So, and I'm going to have to do that for both sides of both towels. Again, not that it's hard, it's just time. All right. So once you have this pressed, and then you're going to top stitch that back closed, you're going to have a entire top stitch seam along the top there. Try to remove all of your little pieces. I was running really fast. There's still a few stragglers, but remove all your excess threads so that they won't be stitched into the seam, because we're going to quilt right up to that edge there. And you guys are probably used to this by now. My towel was nowhere near square, so I just worked with it the best. You know, I moved, some spots were a little over the edge when I was cutting to 10.5. Some, you know, I made sure that I had 10.5 everywhere, so I had a little extra in some spots. That's how I fixed that. I wanted to make sure I had the full 10.5. But it's probably going to run into some weird corners.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So once you have that, again, it says if there is a loop, remove your loop. All right. And then we're going to refold and rehem that. So now we're back up at the top of page 7. And then it tells you to repeat for the other. So now we're to the clear blue tiles part. Woohoo is right. So clear blue tiles are very, very easy to use. Have you done anything with these at home?
Just did that whole table.
Oh, that's right. I
did.
forgot.
Yes.
Yep. So these are very, I think, well done.
Yeah, very easy.
I don't know that I noticed the first time around. There's actually a grid built into these. In addition to the big markings, there is a light grid right in them. And I don't know that we didn't need them last time. So
helps you keep things straight.
Right. I just didn't really see that. So it tells you in your directions that you want to come down 2 inches here. So you actually want this to sit off of your towel by 2 inches. And I know I don't have, let me get some color there. So here is the edge of my towel, and I need 2 inches above the towel.
And there's grid on there.
And
so
there is grid line in there. So I can be extremely accurate as to where that 2 inches is. I don't have to get another ruler to do that. I can just look right on my tile. And I'm sorry, I don't know that I can make that. Can you guys see the?
Yep, right there.
All right. So there's literally a grid embedded into that. So I'm going to lay that 2-inch line right at the edge of my pressed piece. All right. And we are only going to quilt on the lining. We are not going to quilt on the red part. So you're only going to do this once. You're not going to do this part twice.
Right.
Okay.
This is not rinse and repeat.
This is not a rinse and repeat. Exactly.
But it is rinse.
True statement. And you're also going to do this on the back of so the wrong side of the towel, not the pretty side. Though they're exactly the same. So there's not much pretty side going on. But you can tell that by your hem, of course. So we're going to line up the 2-inch mark there, and we're going to line up the edge with our hemmed edge at the top. Those are your guide marks of where to put the tile, on the towel. And you're going to mark all of those marks. So and it says in the directions, a water soluble, which if you have one, I would recommend a water soluble. You're going to mark your center dot. And I went ahead and marked everything else, which it does show you to do as well. And it also tells you in these arrows right here to mark the sides. and the bottom. And what that does is it gives the edge for where to line up for the next marking. Piece of cake.
Mhm.
All right. So if you're wondering, well, how do I know where to put the next one? That just tells me where to put the next one. So line up the top of this piece here with those lines there. Look at that. Nice and easy. And I line up the side here. Now this is where we're going to maybe get a little bit of wonky, and I would line up with your edge here and let the edge at the top inside of the towel go a little crooked, if anything, because this is going to be the side that's going to show the most.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
and it's going to be a design, so it
a
doesn't
little
have a
bit of
defined
a
straight
little
edge.
bit of offage is not going to matter.
No,
This is the edge that you want to remain
as straight
as straight as
even.
possible. Okay. So here, and then line up those markings there and mark again. So we're going to mark. And then I have continued all the way down and marked these pieces here, and you just mark until you get to the other end of the towel. This is so much straighter than mine. It's like crazy straight.
And honestly, when I was doing mine, like I did the straight, the center and the straight, and because I knew I was coming down, I really only put a mark on the bottom instead of on the side of it, just because I was using the outside edge as my guide. So you can use the extra markings as you need them.
As you need them. I'm over marking.
She is, because
Okay,
that's what
I'm
the
just
instructions
wanting you
tell
to
you.
see how it all works. Okay.
Yes.
You don't actually need all of them.
No, because you're
Um,
not gonna.
You're not
You're not
going to be
putting a
putting
second
anything over
set of-
here,
yes.
which is what these side markings would do. If I wanted to continue going to the left,
Yes.
I would line up this then with this marking, and that would tell me where to place the next one.
Exactly.
All right. So that's what those side markings are for. I'm
Yeah.
marking them so you guys can see.
Yes.
All right. So this bottom one, just like that top one, is going to go off the edge of the towel. All right. So again, line up your edge and mark what you can. You should be able to get that center marking. That's the main thing that you need to know, is where is center. I guess I can give you that side thing, but that's not going to really do you any good at this point. And then you can set that aside. And so we are going to be stitching on stabilizer when we start this. We are going to hoop a wash away with sticky back and prep that. And we are actually not stitching a crosshair. So we are going to draw a crosshair, which somewhere around here, I buried them. You are going to draw right on your stabilizer. So find something.
Right. Or if you have the grids, so your initial hoops came with, if you don't have a camera on your machine, you have those little plastic inserts for inside your hoops. Those will have your center markings, and they usually have a little spot for you to mark.
You can mark through those.
Yes.
If you have that, absolutely. So all I'm going to do is line this up with my markings in the hoop. And it is, of course, going to stick. Sorry about my head in the camera.
It's not in the camera.
Okay, good. And then draw a line. And then I'm going to, oh, for crying out loud. So what I did at home, and that's what, like I was looking for something else. What else was I looking for? What I did at home when I was doing this
Just use you can
is
see through your grid.
I could see through the hoop, and I lined up my center hoop markings with my mat underneath, and then I could see where to place my my straight edge.
And honestly, you could use the method that she's doing right now and just line up your towel. Like if you didn't want to
You
draw
could.
the lines.
My problem is that I keep sliding the hoop, and it slid a lot on me. So But you're not wrong. If you have one of those like hoop grip things, and things aren't moving, absolutely. And all I really need is that center line. I don't need the whole piece.
Right.
So as long as you can see that center crosshair in your hoop, that's what you need.
There
Just
is a
going to-
really great product. I'm going to just flip this over so that you can see it. For doing stuff like this. This is called the Hoop Mat Non-Slip. And it has really bold lines on them. And you can see. So this is
that wouldn't move.
This would not
where
move.
my hoop kept going like this as I was pushing on it. It wouldn't move on that because it's got a grip to the actual mat itself. That is
this one is just $20. I think they're more now, and we only have one left.
Yeah,
so
there's only one of those.
I think it's $24.99. So any addition, someone would get one at $20.
Okay, so we are going to take your side with the B at the top, and we are going to fold back our crosshair, and you want the east and west crosshair to be on the fold. Okay, so you should be able to see your markings literally on that. And you are going to put your center dot on the center line and line up your crosshair lines with the line that you have drawn on your stabilizer. You can flip the towel up. This is how I like to do it and see where I'm at. And then you can flip it over and check. So if I was not aligned, I would see a second line at the back of my hoop. So I can see the pink lines that I drew as well as the pink lines that I drew on there through that mesh. So if I missed, I would know and I could realign. But I generally, as I am lining this direction, I kind of walk it down to make sure that I'm lining up. And I do the same thing when I'm going up and down. So it's usually, if I'm off, it's east and west, because I literally walk my whatever down that crosshair as I go. And then you're going to smooth out your towel and pass it over. So, did you change threads?
No.
You're going to leave what you have.
I am.
You are good.
The same color. Yes.
Okay. So the only reason I ask is because, of course, you do want a matching bobbin for this as well. So whatever color you're quilting with, you want a matching bobbin. You can match what you had on the leaves, or you can choose something completely different. Doesn't matter. But you are going to want to have a matching bobbin. At this point, all we have to do is hit go. This is a very quick stitch.
Yes. And I would just like to point out that this is the way the instructions write it, because it isn't designed for people who have fancy cameras and projectors.
Right.
So for all of our customers who have cameras and projectors, you could actually put your markings on the front and use your
And just use the camera
and
to
the
align.
projector to get your alignment on there.
So it does say in the directions, where does it say it? Drop needle to assure design is centered. It actually does tell you that. So on the machine that we're working on, we actually have the ability for a drop light. If you don't have it, so I would actually move it a little bit to your right.
Right, because the
lines aren't
not
technically center. So even though you're centering it to your line, and I was literally right on there, the lines that you see there are not actually the center of the hoop. So on the machine, go ahead and hit your edit button, your layout button, whatever that is, and shift a little bit to the right. I would go one more notch. No, one more. I think you're good.
Okay.
So again, if you're slightly off, it's
they're all that way,
but it's not going to matter because they aren't an interlocking. So it's not like you have an edge to edge that there's a line that has to meet up with a previous line.
No.
It's not that intricate of a quilting pattern. So there's room for error, I guess is my point. If you don't have this beautiful little guy here, you have the ability to turn your hand wheel and just lower the needle to see how close am I? One of the things that I actually like about the pen that I use, I can see my center dot right through my my fabric.
Right.
Could you see that through yours with the water soluble?
Well, I mean, that one is done on top because
Okay,
I'm quilting.
because you're quilting.
So yes.
So it didn't matter.
It did not matter.
So you know, when I was doing the last Bella box, I did them all where I could just line them up and see it.
Right.
So I didn't do the back side thing.
Right.
So there's different techniques depending upon the machine that you had that you can use.
That's
like
right.
you were saying.
And this one will work for everyone's version, but that's the difference between using the marks on your hoop versus the plastic template. For whatever reason, those little marks on your they don't put them in the actual center of the hoop.
Yeah,
it's off ever so slightly.
It's just a hair, but it is slightly slightly off. All right, we're good to go.
Yeah.
It's gonna go over that edge. You want to have that edge nice and stuck.
And so yeah, it is gonna do some stitching right over top of this on just the stabilizer. Sure.
I'm not gonna make it through all four. That's really fast. I might make it through one. Yep, one. Oh, it's not done.
This has one jump in it.
Hey, Hayden, there is actually something you could do if you don't mind. Could you find something with sort of red in top stitch these ends back down?
All right. Stitch number 1 in the books.
All right, so you can literally remove that from the hoop. There's nothing fancy that we're going to do from this point forward in that hoop anyways. And since we have multiple hoops, we're really fancy. We can just grab another hoop. You probably can't do that at home, but we are literally going to prep hoop number 2, just like we did this one. So you're going to load a sticky water soluble. Do not recommend a tearaway in this instance. You are going to want the water soluble.
Yeah, you don't want to pick out tear away from the back of this. That would not be fun.
So we do need to remove the excess stabilizer from our first stitch out. So I am just trimming close to, thank you, close to the edge here. And if you have easy access, you know, when you're on camera to a rotary, you can actually use a rotary to cut the stitches off right on that edge if you would like. I'm just trimming really close.
We have 4 total stitches. Stitch outs on
4
this?
stitch outs.
Okay. I'm gonna go prep these
Cut 2 more.
Yeah.
And so basically what I did at home is I just kept sticking the stabilizer to itself so that didn't stick to everything else as I was trimming everything away. And it didn't get in my way. You could certainly cut the whole section off and, you know, throw it away. But that's actually more time doing all of this and then throwing away. So I just folded it and then got rid of it. So you want to just have that stabilizer behind where you stitched. So just like you would normally do at the end, get rid of as much as possible. We're just going to rehoop. So we have our first stitch out right at that edge there, and we need to continue down. So we can see we've still got more hoopings prepped. We just need to prep our hoop one more time. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did previously, and I am going to find that center, or at least close to center. And mark that so that I can see where to put my crosshair. This table's not very big. All right. And then just like we did the last time, I need to, from the back with my hemmed side on my left, I need to find my crosshair and fold that back. So my B side, I should be able to see that letter B right here. Thank you so much, Amy. And we're going to fold that right on that next crosshair. So we should just be able to see that crosshair right on that fold. And we're going to put it right on, again, that line. And then, like I said, I put my hand underneath here and I just walk my fabric up that crosshair. And then smooth that down and check underneath and make sure that you are staying straight. And when you flip that over, you should see just one crosshair. If you see a shadow, that means you are not aligned on the crosshair. So you'll want to pick that up and try again. If you are aligned, you're going to take that back to the machine. And again, we should not have to change anything. You've got a matching bobbin and top thread. Nothing should change. The same design. We don't have to move anything from there. But we do want to double check again before we start stitching and make sure that we are as close to center as possible. If we aren't super happy with where that is, we can drop either our needle by reaching around to your hand wheel and dropping the needle itself. If you don't have that laser, that's the easiest way to see if you like where that's at. If you're happy with it, you hit go and it will start stitching. Now, of course, this time we're not on an edge, so it's going to stitch the entire thing on that fabric. And it's going to come pretty close to the edge. That's exactly what we want. We want it right up to the edge of that towel. And this is a whole 2-minute stitch out, so it's not a hard one at all. I am just working on trimming out her leaves because they're still attached to that stabilizer.
This was messy, but that's okay.
Yep.
Slightly sloppy crosshair.
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
That stuff is really sticky.
Yes, it is.
Kimberbell stuff.
It is uber sticky.
It's been just easier to just cut through the wash away.
Probably at this point. It was super easy when it was in the hoop.
Sorry. I was trying to be helpful.
It's okay. All good. All right. So number 2 is now done. And we just keep going. So as you can see, this is not a long drawn out process. The prep to get us to ready to stitch is a little bit involved with the actual sewing and prep of the towel, cut it, unsew it, yada, yada, yada. But once we get that done, it's really a pretty quick process. So again, I'm just going to cut in and remove all of that excess. So sticky.
I know. It's even on my hands, like from when I remove the paper.
It's in your nails, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's like the stickiest of all of these, which is good. You want your stuff to stick.
There's no problem with that.
It is not a bad thing, but holy crow. All right. So there we are. We're halfway through. And we are going to do one more full on the fabric. Again, we want that B side at the top and fold that down to our next crosshair. We want the hemmed edge on the left. And we want that line right on the fold. I'm going to line that up. Crying out loud.
Yeah, we're getting lots of muckety muck.
A little bit of junk this time around.
A little bit of junk this time. 3 already today.
All right. So again, check your crosshair. When you walk that up with your finger, it's really hard to screw that up, but it works really well.
Thank you.
You are most welcome. And again, everything is going to be the same. You don't have to change. Oh, I didn't check that.
Check.
Sorry. Well, we can go back to 0 and check. I was really excited.
You were. It's okay. I'm sure it'll be fine.
So you can drop that crosshair and check for your, I can't see it, so I think we're good.
Looks good, yeah.
So I was good to go anyways.
You were good to go. Of course you were. Never a doubt.
Never a doubt. Well, I don't know about that, but okay. So check for center or just wing it, whatever you're comfortable with. Where was I at?
You want me to put it back in the loop for you? We
Right.
have an extra now.
Well, an extra up, which doesn't help either.
The presents are very cute.
They are.
The poinsettias were very cute too.
I actually liked the poinsettia, and if you were going to put, you don't want the scrap, right? Over the years, I've gotten used to Carolyn. Don't throw that away!
Yeah, throw mine away. I don't want to feel like I need to use it later. Of course, I could find every color of felt in my sewing room except for green. I had orange, I had yellow, I had pink, I had purple. I had black and gray. I had no green.
Of course not. Yeah, and I looked in your kit because I was like, well, I can prep for towel.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Nope, can't prep my towel. I was for sure, like, I looked at the instructions. I was like, oh, I've got it, right? And then I did not. I brought the apron home, which didn't help. Of course, I probably could have cut the amount of that
what
I
you needed off the bottom of the apron, no doubt.
So we were downstairs. Oh, I'm sorry. We got the new extension plugs and stuff like that. And so Dave's brilliant idea was let's put your extension cord on the Apple Home system so that you can just turn the plug off and turn it back on. So there's no power to it or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but the Apple Home doesn't always work for me. He's like, it'll be fine. So 3 hours later, it's still not attached. And at one point I'm sewing and
it turned off.
It turned off on its own. So I said,
not gonna happen.
This is not gonna work for me.
Well, that.
Okay. So that was pretty funny.
I didn't get to the other two of those. That didn't happen.
We can do that. Well, only one. Really.
I know.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
We can maybe get that.
Big dreams,
We have a
but
couple lessons today, so.
big dreams. Yeah, and unfortunately, my pickup yesterday canceled. She has COVID.
Oh goodness. Well, geez. That's what we keep saying, right? It's not if, it's when.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for it. When's somebody going to come in here and give it to all of us? 'Cause it's going to happen. Seems like it's happening more
Now
right
than
now than it has.
ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Almost there, guys. So sticky.
We're gonna stick to everything
Oh my
today.
god. It's just like that.
At least it's not like on my shirt today. Like the
cherry.
The cherry from the
Yeah,
other day.
Gene wanted you to know he took the bullet for you. He ate the third one.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a third one in there. He did tell me he ate the second one.
Yeah. He said, let her know. I took the bullet again. I ate the third one. I really gave him crap. I'm like, you can't eat that. I haven't had one piece. Stop. All right. So Sarah prepped and did the crosshair for these last couple. So all we have to do, again, we want that B side at the top. So hem on the left, B coming down.
Yeah, resist the urge to flip this one.
It's gonna feel really weird.
Do you want me to put the camera over on you? Jean's doing a jig over there.
All right, so there's very little that I have to flip there. I'm not really.
Just wing it. We'll be okay.
It'll. Not. I don't think I got that. Let's go this way. Actually, I think I did. Okay, and then. Ooh, there's a big fuzzy in there. Get that red out because that'll show right through that.
because I'm sure that'll be right where the stitching is. Isn't that Murphy's Law?
Murphy is sometimes not a very nice person. I think we're good.
Yeah. Morning, Judy. All right, last quilting design on this one. All right.
So do you want to check that?
Sure.
It should be right in the center of that, maybe a hair that way.
Nope, too much.
Yep, I think you're good.
Okay.
And again, make sure that that
Corner.
is pressed down because it's got a little bit of bulk there. You want to make sure it's nice and smooth.
Oops, wrong camera. I went to nothing. It's so cute. And pretty soon it's gonna be magic. You are gonna
It's
see
going to turn into poinsettias.
poinsettias. All right, that is it. So we are all done embroidering on this, and the next thing that we have left to do is sewing, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, do you want to show them yours under the camera, and I will go into sewing mode here.
All right. So once you get it all rinsed, just like that, they turn into poinsettias.
Just like that.
Just like that. So I rinsed that after I stitched, and then I just set that out and let it dry overnight. I rinsed it like midnight or something like that. And so it was dry this morning. I brought it in. It was super wrinkled, so starched and pressed, and then we have that. So you can see the poinsettias are really, really pretty quilting as well. You'll notice that they're not all exactly the same flower. They reversed it, just like the gifts are not all exactly the same gift. So it's got a nice little variant through there. And you've got some nice pointed leaves, and I think it's a really nicely done quilting stitch. So what we need to do is take our two pieces, and you are going to have very probably two different length pieces. So we need to make them the same length. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to disappear while you're switching things over, and I'm going to cut off some excess off of my red towel. So once we have all of these doing, and again, it does remind you that you're not embroidering on the red, you're just embroidering the lining portion. So we will be on the top of page 9 in your instructions if you are following along. And the first thing that you need to do is measure both tea towels. If needed, trim them to the same width. they should be about 20 inches wide. So again, we're not doing the length here because we already did that part. We're going for width, and they should be 20 inches wide. So let's go ahead and if you are sewing along, I'm guessing you are not because we kind of had a lot of movie magic of prepped done prior to. But I will be right back with that trimmed, and I think she's almost ready to sew.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we have gotten the regular sewing foot back on the machine, and I have changed the thread so that we have white thread in here. Of course, you could use a different color if you wanted to. And Lisa is trimming up the towels. Once she has trimmed up the towels, we are going to fold the lining tea towel in half.
Yeah, they're not the right one.
Are they close?
Yeah. 19 3/4, but
Okay.
my red one is very crooked. Did you look at these instructions?
No.
I kind of quit at that point. Sorry.
All right, it's okay.
I mean, I looked at them briefly. I can switch sides if you'd like. Do you want to sew?
Sure.
I don't care. I just.
All right. So what we're gonna do now is we fold the lining tea towel in half widthwise, right sides together, matching up edges. Pin the side opposite the folded edge in place. Okay. So folded edge. The lining is the white. So we're gonna fold the edge. So we have the hemmed at the top and we have the raw edge here. Pin the side opposite the folded edge and then sew edges together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance.
Okay.
Remove the pins. I'm not gonna put pins in.
No
I'm
pins
gonna
necessary.
Rough it. All right. Can you slide that over here?
Is it in?
It would be really interesting to see how long it took me to figure that out. All right, so we are going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance here. I'm going to start at this top edge, and I'm going to. It'll be good.
Okay. No, I meant the top.
Oh, they feel lined up here.
Do you have a scanning toolkit in stock? Yes, Miss D, I do have a scan and cut toolkit in stock. And other topic that is not on topic, but for you, Miss D, I told you they're all whack.
Yep.
The kits came in and they came in cute little tins. So super hard step, 1/4 inch seam.
Yes.
Right down the side. I can't read ahead. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Did you bring your?
So the bottom cut edges together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance.
Okay.
I see
So
a
flip
pattern
and
here.
turn. Does it then say repeat with the other piece?
I think so.
Repeat directions with main towel.
Okay. So we are going to do the same thing on, ooh, this one is,
I told you that one's really bad.
yeah.
So these are built in here. Okay?
We'll make it
And
work.
what they're designed to do is cure what you're having a problem with. Okay? Because these six are all by the one. You understand what I'm saying?
wow, that's really bad.
quality of
I knew it was bad when I was cutting it. I was like, oh. So you can see how beautifully straight that towel is in the
Picture here.
picture there.
is going to be going from 3-1 to winding your
All right. So
I'm switching cameras for you.
all right, the next thing that we're gonna do is with the bottom seam towards you, pull the layers of the fabric away from each other so that the corners fold out. So we're basically making some box corners here, and we are gonna need to sew 2.5 inches up. So this little guy here is 2.5 inches, so that's perfect. So what we are going to do is we are going to line this up here. Lisa did a really good job of making sure that these are nice and square. So we want to try to make sure that we stay nice and square. Right. So what I'm doing is I'm using, there's a little diagonal line on this ruler, and I'm using that along the outside edge here. That's gonna help me make sure that I stay nice and straight so that when I draw my line, I'm straight across. So if you're unsure that this will stay like this, you could put a pin right through this edge just to make sure that everything stayed nice and square for you. Okay, and we're gonna do that on both projects. So we've got both the lining and the outside piece.
It's nice to have 4 hands sometimes, huh?
Mm-hmm. That's why when you're by yourself, it feels like everything takes so long, right?
There's nobody there to fold everything for you. This looks good.
Thanks.
It looks almost just like it did.
Right?
Imagine that.
I kind of like that. And I'm going to go back to my center needle position. So center.
Yep.
Here we go. And I'm going to reverse over the beginning of this just ever so slightly. And then I'm also going to do the same thing when I get to the crease at the bottom. And then again at the end. And then we're just going to keep repeating the same thing. Thank you. Feels like a giant seam.
It does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. We can pretend for the moment.
We can just leave it.
Are we sewing them together?
All right, so we have sewn those down on all 4 corners, and we're gonna trim those up. And once we trim across those, you're gonna just do 1/4 inch. You're gonna turn the main tea towel right side out, poke the corners out, and then we are gonna insert the lining tea towel into the main tea towel, wrong sides together. And then we're gonna top stitch the tea towel together around the outer edge. So insert the lining tea towel into the main tea towel, wrong sides together. Okay, so I have the wrong side out.
That's just a lot of fabric to have in there.
Yeah. And we want our this towel to be right side. So let me go to this camera for just a second. All right, so we have trimmed the inside. All right, and we have the polka dots. So those are facing with the pretty side out. And we have the lining piece with the pretty side on the inside. So now we're gonna put wrong sides together. And I'm not going to, I'm not gonna match that seam. I'm gonna try to put them opposite. Yeah. And then there'll be less bulk in that one spot. So I've got the seams at the bottom are gonna match, but I put like this seam on one side and this one on the other, so they're on opposite sides. That'll just be a little less bulk when you go to stitch that up. And hopefully it will be the same size. Do we have any pins over here?
I don't think so. I got one.
You got one? I'll take the one.
I got some Wonder Clips.
I'll take a couple Wonder Clips. All right. You just work with what you got, right?
I knocked over a hoop mat. That's all I see.
Okay.
I got a paper clip. Let's see.
Okay. So I'm just working this so that our seams are even inside here.
Planned so well.
Thank you.
Not very big, but here's a whole thing of them.
Okay.
Just a little tiny one.
They're little timies. I'll take timies. All right. So I just want to
Working your way
kind of
around.
pin around here just to make sure, whenever you're sewing in a circle,
Things like to move.
they do. They sometimes move around on you, and you want to make sure that you've got that worked evenly. So I definitely am not a big pinner traditionally,
Agreed.
but I do like to make sure that
Things stay where you want them.
right.
No shifting allowed.
No shifting allowed. All right. Whoop.
Let's just drop all of those pins on the floor.
Right? That would just be perfect. Okay. So now I am going to
Top stitch.
top stitch. This seems okay.
That's all it is, and right?
It
And then
is.
fold it.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, but that's what it says.
All right. So it does say to do this about 1/4 inch, which is going to put you essentially stitching through
In through your quilting.
right, and it's going to put the stitching in your hem, your hem that you already did.
Right.
So
I wouldn't go quite that far in. Or you go farther in.
so they have you going in between, basically. That's a quarter of, so that's about a half an inch,
Okay.
maybe. So a quarter of an inch is inside that, which is fine. I mean, that's what top stitching is typically, close to the edge.
Right.
So I'm gonna go back to just my quarter inch, and I'm gonna increase I'm gonna
The
pick
length.
the right stitch, and then I'm gonna make it about a 3, and we're gonna see how that works. All right. So
Here we go. Last but certainly not least.
And I know this is probably not real easy to see. I'm trying to smush it down, but we're basically I'm just trying to keep that
Keep the edges lined up.
top edge lined up with the edge of my foot.
And with each other.
Yeah,
You know, just little bits
just
here and
little
there.
things. Okay. Just rolling it down. It's those final little top stitching things. You really can't go too fast with this. Otherwise,
It doesn't look birdie.
that's right. Otherwise, I look like a drunken sailor with my stitching. Almost there. Yeah. I think I can take this one out.
What did you do?
Right? And the top edge is going to get folded down, so you're not going to see the white on the red. You're going to see the white stitching on the white.
I moved it over here.
Oh, thank you.
I was trying to help.
Yeah, let's pop over here again. And so then we're just going to
Fold that top
this
edge.
over, and then we have our cute little bag.
It is cute.
It is very cute. Yep, there you go. That's it, guys.
That's how you do it.
Right? If you wanted to make it a bag, you could add handles, but that is
Which
our,
they have
yep, the final
the
measurement.
final steps for in the instructions.
Yes. Look, I get to be Lisa.
You get to be me and I get to be you. Merry Christmas. That's the fun.
That's the fun. All right.
Try
So-
being somebody else for the day.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's be someone else for
Somebody
the day.
else for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That means I have to be really nice.
Sorry. Yes is also a full sentence.
Oh, all right,
So-
guys. Well, that's
so
all we
that
have for you.
is
The bell
that
box.
is number 5.
5 or 6.
We got one
Yeah.
more to go tomorrow morning for the Bella Box.
Yes.
We will see you guys again this afternoon, and we will finish off demo December. So we will be stitching the embroidery this afternoon, and that is at 3:30.
Yes.
So you are welcome to come join us again, and we will see you then. If not, you can join us again tomorrow morning for the final piece there. And we have the poinsettia.
We have a finished one already.
She has finished hers,
did.
and we will show you the piecing in the hoop,
Mhm.
and then we'll talk about actually how to put it all together and the quilting.
Absolutely.
So that will be tomorrow morning, and again we have this afternoon. So we will see you guys sometime.
Yes. You got to
All of the good. Oh, I gotta be. Oh dear, too many buttons. Okay. Ooh, something popped up.
That's all right.
Yeah, but it's
So
just
just-
hiding all of my.
Oh, here we go. We'll do this
it's
one.
hiding all of the options.
All right, I got it.
I was there.
Got it.
I got it.
Bye.
Bye.